He's playing the pumpkin gestures.
He's releasing hot air from his heating vents in a pressurized burst, allowing him to make noises.
Hear that, or he just has a speaker hidden somewhere.
Yeah,
But he's
but
a
it would be hard
robot.
to make. Well, I'm just saying that it would be hard to make a noise with a speaker.
Max, don't dead. Max, why you dead? Don't dead.
See?
No, I am dead. Damn it.
He double dead.
Oh god, what was that? Just like, what?
Whoa.
Yeah.
What was that?
Oh, calm down.
What is that, Moto?
It's great.
What?
Ow.
Please, wait 1 second. Let me explain myself.
What?
Ah,
No, me
shoot.
bored. Bored, run!
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hello. Hi. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. 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 Hi.
Hey,
Hi. 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 Hi.
calm down, calm down, calm down, calm back down.
I get really hyperactive when I'm bored.
Well, shh, because it's time for the workshop to start.
Me
Alright,
get crazy when me
so
no
we
have
are in
cigarette. And me try to
Chapter
quit
3
but find it
of Writing
hard.
Magic,
Love,
Creating
refresh your
Stories That
taste. You
Fly,
sure you
that
don't
was written by
mind?
Gail Levine. She is the lady that wrote Ella Enchanted. Today's Perfectionism and the Inner Critic, and is titled Shut Up, which is quite apt right now. So hopefully you all can actually hear me. I would appreciate some kind of signal if you can hear me.
Yes.
Excellent. Done is I will read this chapter and then we will discuss it, and then those of us that want and like to write can have the opportunity to work on the writing exercise that is given at the end. I would appreciate no noisy gestures. Guard Quacks will need to muzzle himself just like at the readings in Trotsdale, please, because the green text is distracting. When I was a kid, I didn't want to be a writer. I wanted to be an actor or a painter like my big sister. I gave up the acting idea because I thought I was too short to be a star. I kept on painting and drawing, though. I graduated from college and began to work for the New York state government, helping people on welfare find jobs. In my spare time, I painted and drew. But if a painting I began wasn't suitable for framing in the first 15 minutes, and it rarely was, I'd start hearing chatter in my head that would go on something like this. That's lousy. You don't know what you're doing. You're no kind of painter. You stink. Obviously, this critic in my head was not letting me be a happy painter. Nowadays, when I visit schools, I ask kids if they ever hear that fault-finding chatter while they're trying to do something creative. In every grade, lots of hands go up. When I ask adults, their hands go up too. Where does this impossible to please chatter come from? It's born out of and feeds on a certain kind of criticism. Only a certain kind. It doesn't come from the teacher who says that you used a beautiful blue in the lower left corner of your painting, and that if you use the same color in other places, the blue will make the eye move around the page. It doesn't come from the friend who asks you to clarify why your main character yells at his best friend. That kind of criticism is helpful and you learn from it. The criticism that sets off the chatter isn't helpful. It attacks. It's not on your side. It belittles you. Somebody tells you you're not smart enough to understand a complicated idea. Somebody else says you have many abilities, but art or music or math is not among them. Another somebody announces, you just don't have a way with words, dear. For some reason, people grab onto such statements. We believe them and let them into our hearts and brains. When I was little, my father said something pretty wacko. He said, women can't sing. Now you and I know that there are legions of wonderful female singers. When my father made the remark, I had records, CDs hadn't been invented yet, with lovely female voices on them. If I had named some of these singers, my father would have said, they're the exceptions that prove the rule. I don't know what a good answer to that would have been, but I didn't need a good answer for him. I needed a good answer for me. I believed him. To this day, I'm self-conscious about singing. I let a stupid remark rob me of the enjoyment of singing. Anyway, I kept painting and drawing. Eventually, I took a class in writing and illustrating for kids and discovered that I hated the illustrating assignments and loved the writing ones. The chatter was quiet when I wrote, letting me like what I came up with. These days, the chatter sometimes starts up while I'm writing, but I can usually make it pipe down. I tell it to let me finish, and then it can say what it wants. By the time I'm done, it's come over to my side and it's turned helpful. And you can do the same. You can tell that grumbling, griping chatter to shut up. It's not an authority. It doesn't know any more than the part of you that's doing the creating. This is important. Every time you decide one of your ideas is no good, or you tell someone that something you wrote is bad, like those people that like to say, I'm not a writer, or I'm not good at writing, which makes me want to bash them over the head every time. So just remember that. You're letting the chatter win, and you pay a big price. The price is your creativity, which is part of who you are. When you let the chatter win, you hack away at yourself. You stamp down your joy, your freshness, the riches of your nature. We who continue to be creative, we who battle that chatter, are heroes. Our stories will get written and told. Our paintings will be seen. Our songs will be heard. So, shut up the chatter. And ASA especially is a great illustration of what happens when shutting up the chatter, and so is Trotsdale. Both of those places would not exist if people just let the chatter inside squish out the creativity. Writing assignments that are given, you can do one or both of them. If you have not collected the handouts yet from the table, please do so. We are in session 3. So this brings us to discussion time, and there are 4 discussion points that I would like to cover. I also want to give you guys a chance to make your own observations. So let's start with what you guys want to talk about first, and then we'll move into the ones that I had picked out. especially interesting one because of how many avenues of creativity are in them. You have your story writing, you have the art, you've got the coding. And yes, one of the...
Please don't stop! I'm working on voice down here! Thank you!
I totally forgot what I was going to say. I'm sorry.
You're saying what I have for the beginning. And when you say that word.
There we go, Jesus. About the Kino knows far better than I do the effects of ignoring that voice through bad fanfics. The thing that makes a fanfic bad is not necessarily the quality. The reason I say that is because you can tell the difference between someone who just isn't practiced and someone who ignored everything. So the fics that I typically like to read to you guys are the ones written by people who just ignored everything and just fucking went with it, even though it was fucking terrible and made no goddamn sense. Because everybody has to start out somewhere. Like, if I were to show you guys, for example, some of the stuff that I drew when I was a kid, compared to some of the stuff I did now, it would be like, there's a world of difference between those two things, you know? Or if I even showed you some of my early mods that I've done compared to the mods that I do now. So, there's a fine line between something actually genuinely being shit and something being a result of not enough practice or understanding of the medium that you're using.
That stuff that just needs a little bit of help, bless you, Merlin,
Thank you.
shows because if you actually go back to it and do the editing, go through and do, correct the spelling, fix the plot holes, move things around, it polishes that rough diamond. But the shit just stays shit even if you go through and brush it up as nice as you can. Hopefully that made sense, because I'm still kind of scattered from all that
It
stuff.
did. I think, as the group, we ought to watch Whispers of the Heart sometime. I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
Yeah, because the story that she wrote, she wasn't happy with it at the end. She knew it needed more work, but she did it anyway and showed the old man what the Baron inspired.
Yeah, well, and that's the case of she just needed more practice.
Yes.
Rather than it actually being bad. Whispers of the Heart is about creativity and pursuing your dreams even though it's hard, and maybe you have faith in yourself. And it's really, really, really worth a watch. Even if you don't like animated movies, even if you're not a fan of Japanese stuff, you should definitely watch it at least once just because of the story in it. The story in it is amazing. Because it's literally about these two kids who they're transitioning into high school and their adult lives, and they're trying to figure out what they want to do with themselves and who they want to be and what that means and what work it's going to take, and these things. And it's really, really a good, genuinely good movie, and I feel like we should watch it here at some point as a group.
That would be great.
It wouldn't be that hard, Max.
Trotsdale does theirs, Max. In fact, I could probably talk to either Sky or Krim and have one of them stream it, because I know that Krim intentionally set up a parcel in Exmoor specifically to be able to show movies. Sky shows a new movie every Friday. I'm sure he could help us set up a thing here to do it.
Yeah, that's always the hard thing about looking back at your older stuff, because it's always kind of like, it's almost always like cringeworthy in a way, because you're just looking back at it and you're like, what the fuck was I thinking? Like, I can see that I was trying something here, but I really honestly don't know what I was thinking. Like, I have a shitload of old drawings that are like that, and I'm just like, oh my god, the anatomy on this. Oh. But it's important to have that stage. It's important to go through that stage where you're experimenting with things and trying to figure out things and then ending up where you are now.
And it's important
because if you skip that stage, it is. Like, I saved all of my old artwork. Like, I have it. I got it out of storage not too long ago, and I went and I looked through it all. And actually, funnily enough, I was reminded of how morbid I was even as a child, because some of the things that I drew was like, oh, good job, Kino. I actually looked like Wednesday Addams as a child. Well, but there's a difference between the inner critic and just flat out abusing yourself. There's a fine line between criticism and abuse. And this was talking more about listening to the actual helpful criticism and not abusing yourself. Because telling yourself things like, you can't, or you're not good at this, or you don't have a way with words, or whatever, that's not criticism. That's just, you suck. And saying you suck is not criticism. I have that effect on cats. Apparently, Widget really gets excited when I'm around. Well, yeah, I don't disagree that it's important to, like, listen to criticism and stuff, but like I said, it's like, you have to be careful not to abuse yourself.
So we've established that the inner critic can be useful at times, and what the difference is between constructive and destructive criticism is. What do we think about exceptions that prove the rule, that saying?
Any exceptions that prove the rule about, like, criticism, or...
Well, in general, because, that saying, my dad used it too. And he did use it in a sense of how, you know, you could make a blanket thing like people that are skinny or weak, and then you've got the ones that are strong, and they are strong because they push themselves to not be weak. At least that's how my father put it to me, as how that is an exception that proves the rule. I still don't quite understand, but that is how he explained it to me.
Please, calm down. This is not what... Yeah.
There are some of us that can't or would prefer not to use voice, so this is why I have no problem with those that prefer not to use their voice typing. Even though many of us know what Karen sounds like, I can respect that Karen prefers not to get on mic.
That is a stupid argument.
What?
Yes, the text does not show up so great on the recording because this is a video recording.
GG Max.
Oh shit, I forgot we were being recorded.
Yeah, that's why I kept telling you guys to be quiet,
This
but
is why people keep
don't give us...
forgetting that things do get archived when I know for certain that we are in the copyright clear.
That's fine, Moto. Like, that's understandable.
That is totally understandable.
Hey, people of the future. Hi. Hope your problems are not worse than ours.
That's fine.
That is
I am a robot. I am here to take American jobs.
Can we at least pretend we have some amount of focus?
Okay, okay.
We are in the middle of a workshop right now. It's kind of a little bit rude to just, like, blatantly go off topic.
Regarding the exception that proves the rule, help me understand it, maybe?
I have never really understood that phrase. Like, I understand exceptions to the rule, but I've never heard exceptions that prove a rule because, like, that seems contradictory.
Agreed.
Okay, so then we're all
Because it's
agreed
like-
that we're confused on the wording that was used in the chat.
I'm wondering if she meant, like, exception to the rule, because an exception doesn't prove a rule. An exception is something that goes against your proven rules. So yeah, there's a given rule, and an exception is something that doesn't follow that rule. I don't understand how an exception can prove a rule. I think so. I think that's exactly what it is, Karen. It's an idiom that came about through the misuse of another idiom. Can we tackle this from the... Well, you know what? Actually, I don't... Do we need... I'm just confused by this now.
I think he's...
I had her trying to think of this.
He's saying it's a rule
No. I understand what Flynn is saying, and I understand what Karen is saying. I'm thinking back to what the author said, and being still confused by it, because it makes no goddamn sense no matter how long I think about it.
It's the phrasing that hurts.
Okay, let me scroll back to it, because they were.
Well, I couldn't care
talking
less.
About, the
Well, that's because you're a bird.
and then all the singers.
Guys.
So.
Because, like, yeah, she was like, oh, I would point out all the records of female singers that I have to my dad, and he would be like, that's the exception that proves the rule. But the rule that he's proving is that women can't sing. So how do all of these female singers prove the rule that women can't sing? Like,
So basically, this is
Constructive
one of
criticism.
those things that is phrased so badly, it means that people can do it anyway, and that there are people that excel at it.
I guess.
I don't know, Merlin. I'm not watching your videos.
No. Oh, when you say that.
Yeah,
I
they
forget
done
the name
goofed.
for it,
This is
too.
what happens.
You? No, that
Okay,
can't be
so
right.
what are maybe some exceptions that we... Okay, I just screwed up my phrasing here. Okay, so stop, Merlin. Okay, Mom is scattered. She's trying to stay focused for this. It's not funny. I'm not amused. Okay? Thank you, sweetie.
Ginger, get out of my face. I'm trying to look at the screen.
Yes,
Ginger.
so much.
Ginger.
Okay, so
Cat.
what are some things that maybe we think we can't do that somebody else might think we actually do pretty damn well? This might be one of those things that we could use to shut up our inner critic.
Well, for me personally, that would probably be art, to be honest.
For me, it's actually writing. Believe it or not.
And you write really damn well, Seti.
Exactly.
No, he's opened it like that on purpose. It's not stuck. He's just being creepy.
Easy. Just get hung up on all the things.
He's trying to eat your soul, Max.
He is not succeeding.
Yeah, because you don't have one.
That's a really creative way of getting around that block.
Sturgeon's Law.
Yes,
I'm-
you know that.
I've heard of it before. And that's provably wrong.
Well, if you believe that, you won't like the crap. The stuff that is obviously crap. Because 90% of that stuff is crap, too. I'll shut up now.
Yes, I have that happening too, Karen. That's actually part of why my manuscript has been going so slow, apart from time and problems. But I will find myself writing something and thinking at the time that it's awesome, and I'll reread it to find where I was and then be completely and totally rewriting it. Because of some little thing that doesn't quite work.
Now you understand why I like vignettes. Like short stories and such. Just get right to the goodness. Of course, there's no nuance to it.
Well, there can be plenty of nuance. Just depends on how you write it. Eschaton is designed to take place over vignettes. It's just the fact that I haven't written so much, or so much that I've shown people, is because I'm still wrestling with the narrative style.
Oh, a story made entirely... That's why I like Spellslinger. I get it now. it's written like it's an entire book, but it's formatted almost like a series of poems, and it's a coherent story, sure, and there are no skipped bits. It's formatted that way in terms of text. Interesting. And talk to Flying about that.
Yes, Karen, you do get to write those limitations yourself, so you get to actually understand them and create this whole system. I want to see more of your writing when you're ready to show it.
Yeah, the idea is, what was it, consistency, internal and external? Internal means, sorry.
Yes, internal is inside, external is outside, and yes, consistency is very important.
One point being, like, you can set up a magic system consistent, but if it's consistent with its earlier installments and later installments, then it works.
Correct.
That kind of deal.
Correct. There are a few different conversations going on at once, all discussing different aspects of what we read.
Just because he arrived late said he...
There are handouts on the table. Basically what we covered was perfectionism and the inner critic. You probably create universe, but I really, really would not want to be the one collating the rules for that.
One of the things I think modern magic and modern fantasy books do kind of wrong is that if you go back to books like not Sword and Sorcery, John Carter, like Burroughs, Edgar Rice Burroughs' books, he has like mystical he has magic in those books, but it's not magic. It's simply an extrapolation of X-rays. So you have an additional type of ray. You have additional kind of cosmic ray, and he actually just frames it as an additional type of science, and it works on scientific principles. And so he's basically just expanding an already present real science system, saying, well, let's just pretend that there's another way in which reality works. And one of the problems, I think, with modern fantasy is that it does that. It takes reality and it makes it makes an additional system on top of reality, and it's very scientific. And I think one of the reasons why people look at magic so scientifically these days is because you do have this very scientific creation of magical systems. I think magic, by its very definition, should not actually be very well explained. It should be like magic in Lord of the Rings, where it happens occasionally, it isn't used by the main character, and it's usually baffling, mystical, or wonderful when it happens, and that's what makes it magic. If you can fully understand something, it's not magical. And that's actually one of the things that like Harry Potter did right, as opposed to like Aragon, because in Aragon, you understood magic to a T. In Harry Potter, you understood it very well, but it was still magic words, and there wasn't really a discussion of what went on. And so it still seemed a little bit more magical and fanciful,
Well, I mean, yes and no, because there's a couple times where they ignored their own limited rules that they had set up, and it was
if you
just like, well,
establish
now I really
rules,
don't know what the fuck is
yeah, if you establish rules, you really should follow them, of course, naturally. But anyway, I think there's a great modern confusion between like additional scientific systems through which the universe works, and then actual magical systems, which if you go back into like fairy tales or fairy stories even, you get a lot more mysterious, strange, eldritch, perhaps, wonderful, etc. So I think there's like a great modern confusion going on as to how you deal with science and magic in books.
So do we want to take a look at the writing exercises now, or do we want to read them on our own time and work on them on our own time? And if you guys still want to keep talking, that's fine, keep talking. I'm just,
I'm pretty tired too. I got forced to work today. It was great. Because we were short-staffed.
Honestly, who isn't tired here? I'm tired too. Indeed, like how any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
which brings us to
Okay,
technomagic,
this is
and another branch of fantasy.
Technomagic!
this is unrelated. Today my computer refused to start for the longest time, like on a hardware level. So I was trying to figure out what was wrong. And
Did you light some
I'm
incense
sorry,
to
it's more relevant if I talk about yesterday. Yesterday my computer was refusing to start for some hardware reason, and I literally said, please, kindly, with sugar on top, to the computer. And that, it worked after that. I was about to go full tech priest there. Yes. Almost. It was like, please, kindly kind of deal. But still, I almost went full tech priest.
Stop, would you kindly?
Yeah, that was a great moment, and also horrifying. But it was great because it was horrifying in the game.
Yes.
But yeah.
Bioshock. That was a great example of in-game narrative.
It's a shame the second game wasn't that great. I mean, it holds up
It was made by a
gameplay-wise,
different company.
play-wise, but it completely fails on the ideas of the previous game.
Yeah.
Well, I actually liked the second one. The reason why the story suffers so much is because it felt the need to add a multiplayer campaign, which cut off a big chunk of space, basically, for the story. But I still think it was good. It's definitely better than I need to still finish Infinite, but I've basically played up to all the way up to the end, and it's like, well, this has been interesting.
Didn't matter for me. I didn't even know where I was.
Yeah, that was
Oh.
kind of creepy.
These things in front of me! Oh my god, they're my own vortex!
Oh.
Somebody mentioned something about releasing energy, like, as a living being. System Shock did that with the psi implants. That was pretty neat. And it went on in Bioshock, obviously.
Didn't they do that in Stargate too? Living energy? There's like some kind of ascension.
Well, I do.
We didn't have
Oh, well, there were ascended energy beings. The ancients were ascended energy beings, but that's a little different. It was a higher level of existence. Like
Higher level existence.
I love that stuff, actually. That's really cool.
My favorite episode was the one where they went golfing with the Stargate.
That was like a tiny little
That was
montage,
so
wasn't it?
fun. Time loop. It was the time loop one.
Oh, yes.
This is the show that introduced me to the P90. So yeah, it's pretty fucking
Ah,
awesome.
yes, the P90.
There's this one
This
quote.
is defined by people who don't know how it actually works.
I was gonna say,
Hello.
there's one bit. Oh,
Can
hello.
you hear me?
Yes.
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 Hi, Hal. Okay.
I was gonna say, there's
I'm
this
going
one
to leave
moment.
my mic open.
Okay.
I'll just wait until everybody's talking about other stuff. I mean, everybody's
Let's talk
done
about
talking
cheese.
other stuff.
So are we pretty
Can we
much
at least
done?
pretend that we're focused?
Yeah, sorry.
Are we pretty much done with the
Technically, I'm off
now?
topic.
Since we're
I don't
focused-
know. I can't find the note card or whatever it was supposed to be that I
It's-
got.
It's
right
in.
on the
it
box,
should be-
or right on the table.
No, I got it. I can't find it in my inventory, though.
Huh.
Oh, I can
There's
search
somebody else.
for it. The folder went up to just, it was, okay, I see where it is now.
You did a dumb?
No, you did.
Just search right.
Of course I did. I'm a shark.
Yeah, same Karen.
I didn't do the dumb. I am the dumb. But yeah, it seems like this is pretty much over.
Okie dokie, then I will go ahead and stop recording, and I will upload it, and that'll be that.
Now,
I think
Okay.
we can work on the writing prompts on our own and then turn them in as we get them done.
I could make a
Wait.
box for
Yeah.
people to drop them off in for those that actually want to share them. Then maybe we could do an
That sounds
anthology
good.
like we did with the haiku one.
That'd be nice.
Alright, well then I will make sure that there is a drop box.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Both here and over in Trotsdale for the Trotsdale people, so.
Awesome.
I still can't
Well-
believe that Seeger has a cockatoo avatar.